Welcome to Curious Conversations with Tully and Sarah.
We sit down and chat with business owners, entrepreneurs, and some of the best conversation starters.
This is a podcast about real life lessons and people doing cool shit. Kate.
G'day.
Welcome back for round two.
Part 2.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm ready for the heavy hitting questions.
I was going to say, are you ready? Because you left last time and you said to me, you went a bit easy on me. And I was like, oh, did I?
Yeah, I thought that you never know. You never know. Like, I thought that maybe you were going to absolutely slam me, which is fine.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
I'm not a mole.
You're not a mole. You're
No.
a little bit of a mole, but I'm a massive mole. But I like mole qualities.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not taking any shit from anyone.
Yeah.
Like, someone said to me last night on a comment on, I'm reading The Courage to How to Be Disliked or whatever, and I can't get through it. I keep getting really upset. And I said, oh, yeah, I left that shit behind when I was 40, man. Just, you walk into a room and go, do I actually like anyone here, as opposed to, does anyone here like me? You know?
How old was that girl, though? Because I'm finding, and Tully and I talk about this all the time, as we get older, you just drop that shit, doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And we're nearing our 40s. And I'm like,
Really? I think you're like in your 20s. You look
Thank
amazing.
you.
Dead. Love you. Must be the Botox.
I think that you begin to see your friends' parents die, people suffering miscarriages, health issues, cancer scares. You suddenly go, oh, that actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it's so massive. IVF, people struggling to try and have babies. Like, the stakes are so much higher as you get older.
I think also, and we finished the last episode because we did re-listen to the episode this morning just to refresh our minds, and there was a little bit in the last episode about self-worth and stuff like that. I think a massive part of that is self-worth.
And driving here, actually, Tully
Yes.
phoned me. She goes, what does Kate mean when she says what's the difference between
Self-esteem and self-worth. I was like, I've actually never thought of that. I thought it was the same thing.
No, it's very
What's the
different.
difference?
So self-esteem is feeling really good about being in a room, like going,
Yep.
I've got great self-esteem because I'm sitting with you two and I really like you. I value your opinions. We're doing this thing. It's all exciting. My self-esteem goes up because you want me in your lives, and that feels great. My self-worth is that even if I wasn't in this room, I'm still worth being on the planet.
It's more internal.
Yeah, it's about, so I had no self-worth until I started writing books.
Yep.
And when I started writing books, I began to just let go of a few relationships. And I said to my psychiatrist, I can't work out what that is. And she said, well, you've got self-worth now. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, you're writing books and you're bringing in your own money and you're being independent and you're getting a lot of kudos and a lot of love from people around the world because of that. And you know that you're worth something now. And I realised that I used to get my self-worth by helping everyone. I was a helper.
People pleaser.
Oh, and just like, what's your problem? I will come and solve it for you. You know,
That's like us.
yeah,
That's
massive.
kind of
solver.
the tone that's happening on TikTok to you, though, right?
True.
But I do the resources, like I do the hooking up with people, because what I've realised, and I was talking to someone else about this the other day, people don't know how to help themselves. So I had a girl the other day, terrible DV relationship, blah, blah, blah. And I just said to her, what state are you in? And she's told me, I said, right, here's the South Australian Women's Legal Centre. Here's their number. Call them Monday. Let me know how you go. Like, my job is to be the conduit now. It is not to fix it.
Yeah. Previously, you would have been in full rescue mode.
It's very easy for me to go, right, because she can't see what her options are because she's in fight or flight. But I can easily go, right, you need to do this, this, this. And I don't know anything about the legal system, but they do. And all I have to do is connect her up with that. So, but it isn't a lot of emotional labour because the stuff I get in my inbox is insane.
We're talking about in the car, like, we're like, okay, let's recap. I'm like, I still can't like wrap my head around. I can, because people find it safe. I said this last time, feel safe to talk to you, but the amount of messages you're getting like is wild. Like, Kate Forster, the therapist. But it's so crazy. Do you think since the last podcast episode you've had more girls reach out to you because you openly spoke about how people were reaching out?
Yep.
Okay.
And I've had I I went out for breakfast with Tansy and someone yesterday, and I was showing them a message of a woman who said, I think I'm going to kill myself tonight.
Oh my goodness.
And
How
I
do you
went,
deal with that?
And I
That's
said,
a lot.
It's a
and she
lot.
said, I don't know who to go to, but I watch your stuff all the time and I listen to you on repeat. Help me.
Oh my God.
I didn't even know her name. And I went, let's not do that to
Yeah.
start. That's what I wrote. Go, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's fucking take a step back.
Yeah.
And I think if you are, part of me was like, I didn't disbelieve that she felt that way, but I thought if you really wanted to kill yourself, you go and kill yourself. What you're saying is, I am so desperate that I don't know where to go. And it was really easy for me to go through the list of things that were troubling her and go, there is an actual solution for every one of these, but you can't see them. And when I was in her state, I couldn't have seen them either.
Yeah. You're too deep into it.
You know, and a big one for me, and people, you know, the snark pages have been really hard on me about, you know, why does Kate care what we're buying? Kate shouldn't say this about what we're buying. And I'm certainly not a renunciate. I'm not saying you should live in a hair shirt and, you know, I don't know, like just wear nothing and eat seed. But I am saying buy quality.
Yeah.
Buy quality, buy small brands, buy Australian brands if you can. By, you know, emerging brands. Don't just get stuck in the Kmart cycle in particular, because the main thing I'm seeing from women is financial stress.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it.
No.
And everyone's pretending. So there was an influencer this week talking about how she worked at David Jones, and this particular influencer, when she worked there, had come in,
I saw
worn the dress. Yeah. And that for me, and I don't want to shame anyone because, you know, that's you've got to do what you've got to do. But if you're pretending that that's your life, you know, if you're pretending that you look a certain way and yet you're crying because, you know, you can't get credit because your afterpays are done or whatever it is.
A lot of people live beyond their means, but the sad thing is they feel like they have to.
There's no peace of mind like financial peace of mind though.
Yeah.
When you have some money in the bank and you decide, am I going to buy those beautiful boots or not? I've bought nothing for 6 months. Those boots are going to last me 5 years. Maybe they're $1,000. I'll cop shit from this because people go, $1,000 on shoes. But you know
They
what?
last.
That's 5
Quality.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I put up a post the other day of what I was wearing and someone said, you're wearing over $2,000 worth of clothes. Yeah. And I went, yeah, but I didn't pay $2,000. That's called being smart.
Yeah.
You know, that's the main thing for me is having lived through my own financial shit times. I don't want anyone to feel like that now. It is, money worry is so stressful.
Yeah.
It's up there with divorce, you know?
Tully and I started a female finance thing probably
good.
about 2001 in the height of
2001.
2021.
I was like, wow.
Jesus, I haven't even known. 2021. And because we started looking at crypto, we started making our first investments as businesses, and we didn't. I never learned that from my mum. My mum had been through 2 divorces, had no financial education at all, and we had a fee-fi night where Solomon, my therapist, came, and one of the key questions was about spending. And I remember one of our girlfriends, who is an influencer herself, said about shopping. I always go out and go shopping. And he was like, well, what?
Emotional.
Why? What void are you filling up? And that's exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
And she messaged us that night and the next week, and she was like, holy shit, I really had to check myself. Like, be aware of your thoughts when you're going shopping and spending. Why are you doing it?
Yeah, that's a really big one. And so the woman who'd said to me that, you know, she was thinking about exiting the planet early, and one of them was financial stress. And we went through her list, and I said, you know, all the things that she worried about, I had personally been through. So it's not like I'm saying this stuff because I've got opinions. I've lived through it.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things was, you need some cash and you need it now. You need to go through your house and sell stuff. I used to have a Cartier watch. I had a Cartier Santos watch that I'd saved up a long time for. It was a beautiful vintage piece. I went through some financial struggles, and my daughter had to go to a term-long camp at the school that she lived at, and I needed a cash deposit up front, and I didn't have it. And I drove to Toorak and I sold the watch. And I've never thought about that watch since.
Yeah.
But
Really?
she needed that camp and that term at the school more than I needed a stupid watch. And now I don't wear a watch because I type all the time. It would annoy me.
Yeah.
But at the time I thought, so I said to this girl, I said, that's what I did. I went and sold it, got my $3,000, paid it, off we went.
Yeah.
And so she said to me about 2 weeks later, I've gone through my house and I've sold all of this stuff and I can't believe it. I've got a couple of grand in my bank account. I went, yeah, get it, girl. You know, that's just stuff you can get that back again. Like I could go and buy a Cartier watch now. I don't need it. I don't want it. It was a status symbol for me at the time.
Well, I think that's from an outsider's perspective. I think it would a lot to do about shame if she had to feel like, and you saying you had to do it. She's like, she didn't feel alone in that situation.
No, and I'm also a stranger. Like I didn't even know her name at the time. We do know each other now. But anyway, she said to me, her son was getting confirmed, and she said, I need a dress. And I said, well, you've got some cash. Let's find a dress for you. Let's find a beautiful dress for your son. And anyway, she sent me a photo of her in this beautiful dress. I was like, get it, love it.
Yeah.
But for her now, she said, you have changed my financial perspective because I am thinking and I am that's the most stuff I get. You know, I can handle people being negative about me really, because when I get those messages of people going, I've stopped going to Kmart and filling up my trolley. I don't know if you saw that girl on TikTok in America who went to Target, filled up her trolley and tried to steal $500 worth of.
No, I
She's a major influencer.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Why did she try and steal it?
I don't think she has the cash, and she's living this
Fake life.
fake life.
Yeah.
Fake life.
It's like that one influencer we were talking about the other day. She photoshops her like body on like private jets and stuff, and she got caught out. I mean, come on, seriously. I'm gonna go through questions.
Okay.
Did you get any, or was it just
we did.
me?
No, we did. We did get questions.
I want to kick off with the number one question.
What is it?
Kate, why are you such a mole?
Why am I such a mole? It has been hard-earned. That was the question I sent you. Why are you such a? Why is that bitch such a mole? Am I a mole? You know, someone said the other day, my boyfriend worked backstage at so-and-so, the Palais, I think, and Missy Higgins was a bitch. And I said, was she a bitch or was she just exacting? Was she just asking for what she wants because she's a really successful person? And she went, shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I went, because I reckon that's a bit of internalized misogyny there.
Yeah.
You know, like, and suddenly that for people is, you know, particularly being a woman, I think, saying it, and being over 40, over 50 now, but particularly like, get off, granny. You know, I get that a bit, get off, granny.
Oh my goodness.
How are you coping with the comments?
Okay, so I'm going to be a complete wanker here and go into my spiritual self.
Love that.
I have realised that the snark comments are nothing that I haven't said about myself to myself, and they are the shadow self. The snarks are my shadow self.
We had this conversation this morning.
Yeah.
The things that trigger you are things that you still believe about yourself, or you've had thought about yourself.
Triggers the teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole concept of as above is below, right? This whole duality, and I'm really into the duality, right? And I did a lot of thinking about it, and I did a lot of conversing with my husband about it, my imaginary husband. I realised that they absolutely are my shadow self, and I have to integrate that into me. So I kind of have, and it's sort of slowed down a bit. I've also taken stuff on board from them, because if I don't say this is lived experience and what I've learned, people just think that I'm being an over-opinionated mole.
Yeah.
If I say, hey, I sold my Cartier watch so my kid could go to school, and this is why I'm saying to you, please, please, please consider where your money is going, because there's no peace of mind like financial peace of mind. That is always going to land better. But those early posts that caught me a lot of shit, look, I don't regret them. Here we are.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So some of the questions, there is one question that I'm going to leave till last. So if Kate got offered a brand deal, would she take it?
It would depend who is it for. Would I use it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I saw an influence the other day using some piece of shit hair thing that would pretty much look like it came from the centre aisle at Aldi. And I went, you're not, I don't believe you.
But wait, I just want to say something. Go back. What if this person is in financial stress and needed, and that's their job?
Touche.
So what?
Well, get that cash, baby.
Yeah.
But I still don't believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you're going to go, oh, why are my followers not going up?
Well, that's true.
Like we
It'd
were
be a
talking
one-off
about.
thing. Sorry, keep going.
Well, the influencer that I was talking about that I won't say, who's doing a lot of ads at the moment, and you know, young women are looking at her going, I'm tired of it, and they'll leave you very quickly.
Yeah, I think in this space, and we talk about it all the time because we work with influencers. I think sometimes people go for the short term, but don't forget about the long term. So, like by saying no to some of these jobs, potentially you'll get a longer term job with a brand that you want to work with for better money.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like the short thing. They're like, yes. They don't think about it, or they've got no one to guide them in that direction, which is when managers come in to help them, you know, long term contracts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I would do it if it was like anything that is my topic that I think is going to help someone. Therapy, you know, Beyond Blue, you know, a couple of the clothes brands I like, but that's kind of really it. I'm not going to do an air fryer because I don't use an air fryer at home.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You know, like I'd just be a bit of a
You
wanker.
it might be like a creme de la creme one, and you might be like, oh, I actually want to use it.
These nuggets are tops. I actually asked my followers, I said, what would you, and they were like, get it, you know, but don't be a sellout. So, I mean, when I do the podcast, I'm hoping that sponsors will come along.
I don't think you being a sellout that can be in one sentence together. I think you're too authentic. Like even if you were gifted something, you would come from or got a sponsorship for an appliance, you would be so transparent about it and give honest feedback. And if the brand just wants awareness, that's a great piece because they're getting the views anyways.
Yeah.
Well, Variety Hour, they gave me, they said you can have anything you want if you come to the lunch, which was lovely. So I got a shirt. I didn't want to be greedy. You know, I could have got a whole thing and I just didn't want to. I just took one shirt. I've already worn it to 2 meetings, so well done me.
Yeah.
But I had maybe 7 or 8 people message me to say I've just gone to Variety Hour and bought a number of dresses.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
You know, so I'm like, great, it's made them money.
Yeah.
Ripper, I got a nice shirt.
What did you get? What shirt?
The pink one. Did you see me? You probably didn't see me. I was so skinny. I was standing behind
Yeah, I did see that.
Now I was so
I was
thin.
like, where is she?
I didn't see that one.
I can hear her, but I can't see her.
Why is that plant talking?
So this is another question. Does she ever not feel like taking 7,000 TikToks a day, but does them anyway for the fear of not being on the platform for a day or two and not being relevant?
Oh, that's an interesting thing. I did do a lot of TikToks really early, and I'll tell you why, because I saw a few people who said, if you want to get more followers, do more videos. So I knew how many I was doing. Like, I'm fucking annoying. I do less now. But also I tried to explain that I was TikToking like I text. I don't text in a whole thing. I do and I was like, and then, and then. It's not about being relevant. Scott from Luke and Scott said to me, don't TikTok unless you feel like it. So clearly I feel like it.
Yeah.
You know, the other day I didn't. Like during the election results in America, I didn't TikTok because I thought this space is not for me right now.
Yeah.
This space is for women, particularly North American women who are really struggling. There was a lot of conjecture and conversation about it, and I just thought, I was really disappointed in the result. I'm not a Trump fan. I was sad, and I just let that space go. Look, there are some people who do a lot of, and I say I'm doing too many TikToks, but my TikToks are often not about the same topic.
Yeah.
And so I have a really broad church of followers because some are for fashion, some are for self-help, some are for funny shit, some are for life advice, some is for the spiritual stuff. So you might get a taste of that. But when I don't post, like maybe I do one a day, people message me and go, are you okay? So
wow.
clearly, So I'm sorry to that man. I'm sorry to the people who have to bear with me, but they can just block me. Like,
Yeah.
that's okay. I just scroll on.
Do you feel, because your opinion's so valued now, do you feel like when there is an event that you have to create?
No.
No.
So people have been sending me a lot of stuff about some country music singer, Zach something.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't care.
Brianna Chicken
Yeah.
Fry.
I don't care. People were sending me a lot of stuff about Bonnie Blue and Annie Knight. I only did one post when she got deported, and because I thought it was funny, mostly because my toilet paper was in the video. But I didn't have a lot to say on that. I did one post about Kamala in terms of the glass cliff theory of women being set up to fail, but it was more about the glass cliff theory than it was about Kamala. So I don't talk about things all the time. There's another influencer, more Instagram, who's being investigated at the moment for fraud and stealing identities, and people have been sending it to me, and I just went, oh, I can't do that one.
Yeah, you've got to be
This is what
careful.
how we ended last episode is about people sending you information. What do you do with that information? You're the Australian version of Des Moines now, I feel like.
You said that last time too, yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, it's like the girls who messaged me about the teacher that they're saying the school is not taking that seriously, and I'm like, that's really concerning, and I'll help you look up the right thing. And then I went went out and said, this is what's happening, and lots of teachers saying you need to go to VIT, you need to go to the police and blah, blah, blah. So I gave them that information and handed it on.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not, Nancy Drew here. I'm just handing the information on. Some stuff I get and I go, oh, I can't touch that with a 10-foot barge pole, but I know that it's going to come out eventually. And so I just sit and watch and go, this is going to be a train wreck. I know it's going to be a train wreck.
That would be fun over a few
But
wines.
like the girl, the alleged woman in Queensland.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't.
I know we were messaging
I had to
about that last
I
week.
actually had to go off TikTok because I have a daughter. I was like, this is actually hurting my heart. I can't.
Yeah, so I got some pretty heavy stuff that was validated in my inbox on that, and I ended up, some of it I said, this is so intense, you need to go to the police.
Yeah.
Which I'd spoken to you about and said, oh, I've got to send this. I'd like, go to the coppers, mate. They're going to need that. I don't know what the outcome is. I don't know the story. It's all alleged. But my thing was talking about it why would you want to stay in hospital? If you've ever had a kid, I couldn't even get my kids vaccinated in terms of me going. I had to send Dave to take them because I hated seeing them cry.
Yeah.
So having a daughter who was in and out of hospital for 12 years, I was like, and that post is really important because there's just so many parents with sick children talking about their experiences and children who have passed. And I think I really validated that for them. But I was really careful not to use names, and I was very careful to say it was alleged. But
Yeah.
the stuff that came to me, I just had to go to the police,
Yeah,
please.
too much.
Yeah.
Next one, Tull.
Okay. This is probably not a question, but it's a bit of a statement. Not one to be easily influenced, but why do I believe everything Kate says?
Because I'm not telling porky pies. There's nothing in it for me.
What's the most surprising thing a follower has ever said or done in response to your content?
Send me a photo of them on the toilet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A girl or a boy?
Girl.
Oh, wow. Why?
No. She goes, I love you. I'm watching you on the toilet right now, and sent me a selfie of her on the toilet. And
Oh, my God, dead.
Thank you very much.
That is weird.
Was it a disappearing photo?
Oh, yeah, no.
Can you do that on TikTok?
It was on Instagram.
Oh, dead. I feel like we've kind of answered this one about negative feedback, so I'm not going to do that. Do you think TikTok is changing the way people consume content online, and in what ways?
Well, I think TikTok's changed from when I started. Oh,
really?
Well, when I started watching TikToks, it was really educational.
When did you start watching?
COVID.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and my friend, one of my best friends at the time was dying. And so she's the one that I wrote The Life is Purpose for. And so she and I would just send each other TikToks all the time.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And so that was kind of really special. But now there's just, because of TikTok shop in America, there's just so much paid stuff now. And link in bio, and you know, and I don't think the link in bio is necessarily bad if it's a nice outfit and someone goes, oh, where's that, and you can go and look at it, blah blah blah. But if that's all you're shilling all the time, you know, and that's the thing for me. Even after this podcast, last time people messaged me going, where was that top from? I want that top. I went, it's from the Hampton Op shop. Like it's, you know, don't be so easily influenced.
Yeah.
So I think TikTok is super consumer at the moment, and I think it will end up having to find a balance because it seems to be very, very focused on selling.
And now that I saw a video that the Content Creator Fund is coming to Australia.
Is it though?
I don't know. They say they are, but then I'm thinking, well, if TikTok shuts down in America, which it's supposed to, then
won't.
Maybe it will. I don't know, but I keep seeing videos about that. So
If
it probably will
TikTok
change again.
Gets shut down in America.
No, I heard they're moving their entire operations to America, so they can't.
Yeah, I doubt they will, but
Yeah.
the next question, I feel like we might have to bring your daughter on. The next one is, what's the vibe of your podcast? In brackets, not sure if we're allowed to talk about it yet.
I don't know. Am I allowed to talk about it yet?
Yeah, up to
You're
you.
producing it.
Should we bring the special guest on?
I think so.
Bring her on.
Bring her on.
Yeah. Tansy,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you.
For everyone who doesn't know who you are, introduce yourself.
I'm Tansy. I'm her daughter.
Yeah.
We've heard so much about you. Welcome to
Thank
Curious
you.
Conversations. Now, bring it back to the question that we just had. Kate, you announced you're going to do a podcast and we're producing it. We're so excited. But can you guys give us a little bit of a vibe of what it's going to be about?
Okay. Well, it's called I think we're going to call it the hard stuff.
Okay.
And we're just going to talk about hard shit,
Yep.
but in a funny way. And hard stuff can be everything like from friendship breakups through to death of a pet, through to, you know, something you're struggling with in culture or whatever. It doesn't matter. But she's like the smartest person I know. And I think she's really funny. So, and I think it would be great to have a younger person on there and not just me.
Yeah.
Because she'll keep me in check.
Yeah.
She'll go, oi, tone it down, woman.
Yeah.
So that's important.
And Tansy, how do you feel about being on the podcast?
I think it'd be fun. I mean, we talk every day.
Yeah. I love that.
And we are the classic mother-daughter duo that's constantly like, we're so funny.
Yeah.
People would love to listen to us. We're literally hilarious. So let's see if that's true. I guess is kind of, we've been talking about it a lot, kind of the idea of talking about hard stuff, but hard stuff being a very relative term.
Yes.
That sometimes something that feels kind of insurmountable is that I couldn't pick a top today. And then tomorrow it's that, you know, I'm dealing with the death of whoever the fuck, you know, and all of that stuff is really important. But
there's always something. We say that life is a roller coaster. There's always something.
Absolutely.
And it's funny you say this, and I'm going to ask this question, and I'll get one of you to answer at one time because it was one of the questions. What's an experience that has changed your life?
It's a good question.
The birth of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. And Reiki.
Oh,
Really?
I had a Reiki
for ages.
experience that I realised that I'd been seeing in black and white before, and then I had Reiki, and then I could see in colour.
How long ago?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
So
Literally,
Yeah, because
and
people will be like,
figurative.
huh?
no, seriously. So I went to Reiki because a friend of mine's mum at the time had been through the most horrendous life, and she and I were really close, and she said, I'm doing Reiki over at Caulfield Park at the Scout Hall, come over. So I went over. She was like 2. I was coming out of really bad postnatal too and post-traumatic stress from her birth. So I went over and they did Reiki on me. And I shit you not, I think my heart chakra opened or something shifted in me that I came out and everything was beautiful. I could see beauty in everything, like insane amounts of optimism. And I don't know. Some people debunk it. For me, it really shifted something. But also having her, I was 25 and I turned into an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that they tried to keep her in hospital after I'd had her, and she didn't really need to be in there, and I knew she didn't need to be in there. And the neurologist had said, just take her home, love her up, and we'll see her at 2 weeks at the Children's. And I stood in my Fuggo taking shape pajamas and said, I'm taking her home. And he went, I did blah, 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 blah. Like, and I went, I'm sorry, I'm taking her home. And Dave said, he looked at me and went, whoa, girl, you'll be a woman soon. Like, I just
Yeah.
and just took her home.
Yeah.
And I think that was shifted for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Tansy?
I mean, it's probably, I moved to Tasmania for 4 years for university. I'd lived in Melbourne my entire life, and I'd been to Tassie once, to Hobart, on a choir tour in year 9, rock on. And then, moved to Launceston. And I had sight unseen kind of 2 days before I started classes for university, had met no one, had never been there, rocked up with Mum. She helped me set up my apartment with, don't tell your followers, but things from Kmart.
Kmart. Baby adulting, I called
Absolutely,
it.
Yeah.
And then she left the next day and I went, I live here now.
Yeah.
And it was like a really weird thing to do at kind of 19 and be like, let's do it. Let's kick it. Let's see what happens. And but it was really amazing.
Life-changing.
Hugely.
I want to ask a question just about, I'm going to go to you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your mum being on TikTok?
Well, I mean, she's exactly who she's always been.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like, I don't know, it just feels like she is who she is. And more people can see that now.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, a lot of the stuff that she's really praised for is kind of the authenticity. But she's always been a very honest person.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that she's authentic on there. And I'm not surprised that people respond to it. I mean, I don't know. She's exactly who she's always been. And I'm just like watching people interact with that. And it's kind of hilarious to watch all these people be kind of so besotted with you out of the blue. And I'm like, it's my mum.
Yeah.
Yeah, babe, she's always been like this. She's great.
What about the flip side of that with the nastiness that comes with TikTok and social media?
I mean, we've spoken about it quite a lot. And I think the thing that I've noticed, because, I'm a child of the internet. I grew up watching a lot of long form kind of content on YouTube as well, more so than like TV through my teen years. So I was very into kind of the ideas of influencers and kind of online spaces and communities. I think the thing that we've talked about a lot is that ultimately they know a minute of her day.
Yeah.
These people that crack the shits and hate her and whatever. They see 1 minute of her day and they take what they want to see from that. And if that's that they think you're whatever, that's what they've chosen to see. And the same is the flip side of people that see all the beautiful stuff about her. That's because they have chosen to see that stuff. And so I think ultimately, you get to see, maybe if it's a heavy TikTok day, about 8 minutes of your time. But, but if not, like they get to see, kind of a snippet of her.
Yeah.
And they get to make snap decisions and judgments on that. And I think often I agree with what you were saying before about kind of the shadow self stuff. But I also think, it's what you taught me when I was a literal child. What you hate about someone else is usually what you hate about yourself.
Yeah.
Or what you're jealous about, or whatever it is. Either you see an absence of that quality in yourself or you see too much of that quality in yourself. And so ultimately all of the stuff that people say about her online, I'm like, well, that's not about her. That's about them.
Yeah.
And that's their business.
Yeah.
But it also feels like, I don't know, very kind of rudimentary to sit here and be like, well, it's about them, not you.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It's a good way to put it, actually.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you need to get on the defense? Because I've seen some people talk about my friends on social media. I'm like, oh, fuck, I want to write something back so bad. But then I'm like, no, that's what that person wants.
Yeah. Well,
Have you ever written back to anyone or felt the need? Okay.
No, I haven't, because I talked to her about it.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather talk to Mum and kind of sit there and talk it through and unpack it with her than pay them any attention.
Yeah.
Because I don't know them. I know her.
Yeah.
And like she's my gal.
Yeah.
So I'll sit with her and we'll chat about it. But also someone commenting something that I think mostly is like untrue, or it's classic like schoolyard bully stuff, right? Is to sit there and be like, well, what do bullies want to get a rise out of someone? So if you ignore them, they kind of die off. But if you keep feeding into it, then they can go, oh, not only is Kate blah, 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 her daughter's a mole too, and like
Runs in the family.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break the generational mole thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not working.
But my thing is with the snap, when it first happened, I was shocked. And I remember this from Tansy. Her kindy teacher said to me once, someone had been mean to her about her arm. Obviously, she has a brachial plexus injury. And she said later, and I said, oh, that's terrible. And she said, well, mostly she was upset not at what they said to her. She was upset that they would say it. And that to me is like, But I have a love-hate with snark, and I have stopped reading it. But at the time, there was some stuff in there that I went, fuck, they're right. But I think if you can't have self-awareness and go, I need to shift the way I'm communicating. But also it's all learning. I didn't know anyone was listening.
I think you've definitely shifted the way you communicate with people. I think
I'm way less ranty.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing, but the previous episode when you spoke about the Nepo babies, I was like, well, if you explained it that way, I get it.
Yeah, but I honestly didn't think anyone was listening.
Yeah.
You know, like at the moment I'm watching this funny thing and I'm undecided whether I'm going to do something or not, which was, you know, let me show you how to get, 10,000 followers in a month or whatever. And I just look at it and I go, that's the worst fucking advice I've ever seen. That is such bad advice. My advice will be over and over again, just be who you are.
Yeah.
Just be who you are. And if it's a struggle for you, then don't do it. If it comes really easily to you and you can just take the piss out of yourself. I did a photo yesterday where I look like a seal. I did a post yesterday. Did you see that?
Yeah, with your brother.
Yeah. How fucking funny is that? It's so funny.
Yeah.
Like if you can't actually go, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Too serious. Some people are too serious.
And also I didn't start out with a full, face full of makeup and, I've set the bar real low.
Yeah.
So anytime I put a lipstick on, people go, you look lovely, Kate.
Next you'll come on with full face of makeup, eyebrows done, everything.
Oh, fucking so Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
Hello.
So tell us more about this podcast, hard stuff, topics all the time.
Launching early next year.
Yep. Launching next year. I don't know. Talk about it, Tans, because
we want to get some guests in.
Yes, sweet.
And just, people that are experts in their fields, but also people that are just interesting.
Yeah.
People that just have interesting perspectives on things, and also people that are very comfortable to just have a chat and kind of talk it through,
Yeah.
Talked to a friend of mine who's gorgeous the other day, and he was like, can I come on and talk about awards fashion?
Yes.
And I said, of course, darling.
Yes, it's very hard.
Exactly.
Hard
Let's
stuff.
talk about the Oscars dresses.
Terrible dresses.
Do you think you'll have any of your followers on?
Yeah, well, yesterday I did a live, just a random Sunday morning, Saturday morning live, and we were talking about living in remote areas, and this girl said, I live in remote Northern Territory. And I said, what do you do? And she said, I'm a Indigenous nurse. And I went, and I'm adding you, and I'm gonna interview you. And we talked about Indigenous health issues and what she's facing up there, and we talked about tourists and stupid decisions they made in Kakadu.
That would be quite interesting.
She was great, and people loved it. People were like, I'm here for this.
Yeah.
Because they're learning something.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything.
No. It was really, really, really interesting, and I think everyone has a story though.
100%.
So that's a big one. But also, like, Tansy and I had this hour-long conversation the other day about the different generations of bullying, right? And that was when I said, fuck, we really do need to do this podcast, because it was so great. So my generation of bullying was just smack the shit out of each other in the locker bay. Right.
Physical.
Yeah, physical.
Wow, okay.
You're a fucking mole, smack. Like, I remember I was at a high school for 2 years before my mum thought I was turning into a feral child, so moved me to a private school. And there was one day I was just having lunch and I hear scrag fight in the locker bay.
Oh, scrag.
Love it.
I go down, there's a full scrag fight, and I'm like, amazing. And so this was part of the snark thing. I said to Tansy, why is everyone so duplicitous about the way they bully? So, like, when did we decide that we are all going to say that girls can't wear cardigans? And I'm like, what are you actually trying to say? Just fucking say it. Like a girl who saw me, the video of thinking I was driving. When did we decide that filming content and driving is normal? I'm like, well, I'm not doing one of those things. And I was saying to her, why can't you just say, are you driving and filming?
Yeah.
But why even
She's
say
making an
anything?
assumption, right?
Yeah.
But this was my point to Mum about this, is that the women who lived through the scrag fight in the locker bay, so to speak, raised my generation of women
true. Yeah.
and told us no scrag fight in the locker bay. You have to be nice to everyone. Also grew up in the generation of everyone gets a ribbon, everyone's so fucking special, blah, 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 blah. Which, like, yeah, all God's children, etc.
Yeah.
But we were all told to be, like, so positive, so lovely to each other, not confrontational. And also my kind of age group grew up on the internet. And so there was no confrontation in person. Everything was mediated online.
Yeah.
So there is no actual confrontational skills. So we learnt to subtweet and put up the status being like, really interesting how friends are actually fake and no one in year 9 likes me. You know, like there's stuff like that, like inbox me if you even care. Like things like that constantly.
Those Ask FM profiles
Yeah.
that you guys had.
Yeah. And then, you know, someone asks me, why are you such a bitch? And I go, Mum? No, I don't. Never you.
No,
No.
but it's true. You guys did this, you know, and people talk about it now with young girls and bullying and mental health issues, and I'm like, we just used to have it out. Unless then
Now
you
it's a
knew
lot
where
more
you stood.
emotional. How much can they break you down?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that has been, I was thinking that on the way over here actually, about the beginning of TikTok for me was, are you going to stay? Like, how tough are you? You know, like it's like I said to you when I started volunteering at the jail, and one of the women said to me, you won't be back. You're too posh and you're too soft. And I'm like, what? But I came back. I'm like, I might look a certain way or speak a certain way, but I'm here for the long haul. You know, I can cop it. And I don't, and you know, you say this too, there's no such thing as cancel culture, you know.
Well, yeah, no, if you have, I mean, in a sense, do I think there should be such a thing as cancel culture? Perhaps.
Yeah.
But I think that if people have undying followers and people that support them, it's very hard to actually wipe someone off the face of the internet. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't put people on pedestals too.
No.
That's what I keep saying to my followers. I am just a normal person with normal problems that I don't even talk about online. People say, oh, she's always online, or she's, you know, does she have to give us every single thought? Mate, that's not even the tip of the iceberg of the shit that I think about and write about and journal about. And, you know, I'm a really big, deep thinker.
I think what people have to realise, people will put you on a pedestal because they wish that they had things that you have. They see confidence in you. That you're doing things, and they're like, I wish I could do TikToks every day, and they don't. Everything that's in you that is in them, they can do it.
Yeah, that's my thing, is to start posting. Like, please, we need less link in bios and more tell me how you got over that, or tell me how you got your sink so shiny, you know, like whatever. How did you get your baby to sleep, or did you do baby fed weaning, or, you know, those sort of parenting things have been really, really popular as well. I think there are things that people don't talk about. They don't talk about mental health. They don't talk about, you know, suicidal ideation, money, narcissistic parents.
Money's a big
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Money's a massive one, massive one. And, you know, I've been through the ringer with that and have come out the other side.
It's even like asking your friends about investing. Like, I never knew how to invest until one of our family friends was talking about investing. He's like, do you want to put money in it? I'm like, yeah, I want to, but like, how do I do it?
Yeah.
And I, like, my girlfriends, we don't sit down and be like, are you investing in anything? Like we do now that we have an open conversation, but previously, like I wouldn't know how many, if they had investment properties, if they had shares, or how are you building your wealth? How you, like, they're conversations that, because we were brought up not to ask how much people make. What do you do with your money?
Yeah. And I think this whole fascination with old money, or people not being true about how much money they have, or pretending to, you know, poverty cosplay, you know, it's like, just say that you're really wealthy and that you can do that. You know, I mean, I guess for me, that's part of the thing. I have 2 other jobs. That's TikTok is not a job.
You have not made any financial gains from TikTok.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just gotten 2 tops.
Yeah, 2 tops and a lunch.
Yeah, and I got the commentary thing because I did a video about how I didn't have anything to wear, and then they were very kind and offered me an outfit, which I will wear to death because I already wore commentary before that, and I know I've made them a lot of money, but they're not ringing me and going, would you like a brand deal?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even on a PR list, you know, I'm just, and I guess that's part of why I have followers is because I'm, you know, not doing it for that. You know, I've got books to write. I'm writing, you know, big projects. It's, you know, hopefully the podcast will.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you two will be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, a girl said to me yesterday that she's downloaded all her favourite videos and put them into a playlist and listens to them as her comfort podcast because she hasn't got a podcast yet.
Oh, bless.
I went,
So sweet.
oh, me just going, fucking fuck.
I think that's great. I think we should probably nearly wrap it up because I don't want you guys to talk too much because you are going to have the podcast. So I feel like we should keep those episodes for early next year.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to wrap it up?
No.
Was that the last question?
Yeah, that was the last
I
question.
think I had one more.
Oh, you did it earlier. I was supposed to wrap up with that.
Oh.
I asked one of them because it was on
Sarah's
topic. A question to both of you as well. What is something you regret not saying to someone?
Oh, yeah, that was a good question.
Ooh. Look, I suffer from, what do they call it? The wit of the staircase, you know, in France where you go down the stairs and suddenly you go, fuck, I should have said that.
Oh, yeah.
I get that a lot. Something I should have said to someone, I mean, if you say something, would you have changed stuff and then that changes time and then you're ruined, you know, those things. I don't have any real regrets. I got to say goodbye. I got to say I love you to my dad before he died. I don't know. No, I don't think I have any regrets. Edith Piaf, no regrets.
I don't think I have any specific regrets.
Yeah.
I think maybe as a teenager, I wish I more often told people that I wasn't finished talking yet.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not done. Give it a second. That kind of stuff. But I guess I kind of like also that I didn't have the resolve to do that and that I grew into it. So I don't really think I have any specific regrets.
Particularly around boys, I think it's young.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, when you're 14.
Yeah.
You get interrupted every 12 seconds and you're like, yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Okay, bye. Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, growing into an adult that's able to be like, oh, I'm actually not finished, so please shut up to whoever.
To me.
Yeah.
Well, on your podcast, you don't have to shut up.
No, exactly. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, but we're excited and thank you guys so much for coming on. Such a pleasure to have you for part 2.
Oh, thank you. I love
And
it.
you're only a little bit of a mole.
Oh, spew
That's
over a homo.
Do you know, I just have to say something. My mum taught me growing up never to call anyone a mole or a loser. So by you keep saying mole,
I know.
it's really like affecting me because my mum was like, never call anyone a mole or a loser. I think it's such a mean word.
See,
so
mole
good.
to me were the gangster moles who were like the girls out of, you know, Bugsy Malone.
Yeah.
So the gangster moles were tough and they were sexy and they took no prisoners
Okay.
and they carried a tiny
compliment then.
pistol.
Yeah, it's a compliment,
Yeah,
but
you're
for
a
me, it's
fucking
like,
mole.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like you've got a tiny little, you know, pistol in your garter.
Yeah.
You're taking bang bang. You're taking no.
What was
taking no
that? Get
prisoners.
Smart. What was that?
Yeah,
like?
yeah, 99.
oh, I
Yeah.
love that show.
Yeah, so for me, a mole was always you're a little bit racy, you're a little bit naughty. See, people have turned it into something else, but I grew up with it, bang, you're a gangster mole.
Maybe someone called my mum a mole and she just got triggered. And
She just didn't like it.
I wasn't allowed to say it.
I wasn't allowed to say guts. My mum was a nurse, so it was stomach.
Really?
She goes, don't say guts. It's a stomach. I go,
Isn't
"Hey,
it
Mum."
funny?
Isn't it funny?
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on.
you so much.
Pleasure to meet you, Tans, as well.
Thank you so
Such
much
a
for having
pleasure.
me.
Thank you.
Gutsy
We'll
mole.
see you.
Oh, I am a gutsy little mole. Thank you.
Thank you.